What's up, everybody? It's Flair, former 1%, and I'm here chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Flair, 1%.
I literally seen him steal from the club. So there were things that I was bringing out, and I was talking to other guys. No, not snitching, but just trying to get
Yeah,
what
but
do
if
you
someone's
do?
stealing from the club, how would he be stealing from the club?
So that's the thing. So it was like I said at the time. We had a lot going on in the club. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into too much detail with that because I'm not gonna put anybody at risk. Dude, uh, he was the one that handled all of the money. All of the money had to go through him. No matter what the money was from, no matter where it came from, everything had to go through him. And I didn't understand that. And I seen it firsthand. Uh, he was supposed to split the money one time with somebody else. He took the money out. He said, "This is how much we made." He said, "Tell them we made this," and he gave them. He gave me a certain amount of money. Said, "Give them this," and I see him put the rest of the money in his pocket. Now I'm prospecting at the time, so he may think, "Oh, this prospect can't say shit, he can't do." Like, whatever, cool. Anyways, at the time, I brought it. I brought it to the president's attention, and I brought it to the vice president's attention at the time, and he was just pretty much like, "All right, bring it to president." So I brought it to the president, and he was just pretty much like in one ear out the other, and act like he didn't even hear it.
Wow.
So, okay. So I didn't like it. I didn't like now. I didn't like the situation. Now I didn't like this guy because I know you're doing fucked up. I've already brought it to the president's attention. I brought it to the vice president's attention, which are the only two people above the sergeant at arms.
And are you paying money? Are you paying dues and
Yeah,
things like that?
yeah,
So your money's going through this guy's hands.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, fuck, man. Like, so everything that's happening, everything that happens, everything he says, everything that I don't like, now I'm looking for a reason to kind of like egg it on. And it gets to a point that he I had a girl at the time. He went and he started telling my girl at the time club business. Right. And I went to him and I said, I didn't respect it, whatever the case may be. So I didn't go to him. I went to my vice president and I said, "Look, this is what it is. This is a situation. I feel violated. And as a man, I want to fight." And he was like, "You serious?" I said, "Straight up. Like, me and him, just me and him. I need my one on." And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "This is old school Ching A Ling way." Like, he was like, "All right." So I went into the meeting that day. I went into the meeting. I took off my vest. I put my vest on the table. I said, "I want 5 minutes with this guy." The president said, "Oh, what?" I said, "This, and that. This happened. This happened. I want my 5 minutes." I looked at him. He said, "Why should I give you 5 minutes?" I swear. He said, "Why should I give you 5 minutes?" I explained myself. I said, "You said this. You did this. You said this. I don't respect it. I feel violated. This is not about the club. This is a personal issue. It's you and me." He told me, "I don't respect your 5 minutes." So he said. So I looked at the president. I said, "This is your sergeant at arms?" President put his head down. I kid you not.
What?
Dude, I'm not. I swear, I'm not joking. I'm not making shit up. He put his head down. The
He's
vice
supposed to
president.
enforce the rules. He's supposed to be a rule enforcer, right?
First of
Basically.
all, I'll tell you straight up. You, my sergeant at arms, somebody calls you out. If you don't put hands on that person, give me your patches, all of them, with an ass whipping, and give me a bike on top of it.
Wow.
So, you know, ended up, like the vice president stepped up. He's like, "Oh, look." I don't want to hear nothing about this anymore. Blah blah. Cool. So obviously nothing was ever solved. So now I'm walking around. So now, remember I told you before that I said if I would have told them, you're not getting this patch, and they would have left me with it, I would have never respected it. Now that's how I'm feeling. Now
Yeah.
nobody can tell me nothing.
Yeah,
Nobody.
now you see it for what it is. Like,
Because at the end of the day, your sergeant at arms is who was supposed to enforce the rules. So if I do something wrong, who are you gonna call? I dare you call your sergeant at arms. I dare you. So who are you gonna call? So I went on a little rampage, and I
now,
was
before this point, have you ever seen a fight happen between members?
between members. No, not between members, but I've heard many stories
I mean,
about members.
it's a simple little fist fight, like to settle a
Right,
dispute. That's the way to do
it
it, right?
happens. I mean, listen, you get it off your chest. You get it off your chest. You shake hands after. You have a drink, and you go about your day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'll gain respect for you out of this.
Hundred
Everybody has
percent.
a different viewpoint on this. Some guys don't like it. Some guys feel like you lose respect when you put hands on somebody. Some guys, me, I feel like we're men, and sometimes men need to get hands put on them.
Yeah, so I mean, there's situations when it calls for it, you know.
Absolutely, brother or
So
not.
so now there's tension between you guys, and it's known. I mean, he kind of knew before because of the stealing thing, but now it's known, right? So what
Now
happens next?
everybody knows. So I stood there for about almost another year. Almost no, I'm lying. I'm lying. I stood there for a few months, and then I got to the point where I was like, I don't respect what you guys have going on here. Like I said, there was a lot of going on with the club, and there's a lot of personal things that were going on, and I didn't feel like that's where I belonged anymore. So I went into church one day, and I put my colors on the table, and I said, I'm done. I said I'm done here. I said, this is not what I joined. This is not my exact words. I remember it like it was yesterday. My exact words were, when I came here, I never felt like I belonged anywhere until I became a Ching A Ling. But I come in here today and I don't even recognize who I am anymore, and I'm not okay with that. And I said that's not what I signed up for. And I put my patch down, and they thought it was over a situation that had nothing to do with what it was about. I'm not gonna say, like I said, I'm not gonna say too much because I'm not gonna get certain people in trouble. But when I put my patches down, three other guys put their patches down.
Wow.
Yeah, and we all four of us went, and we went to the president from the Upstate charter, from the Upstate New York charter, and I sat down with him and I said, "Look, this is a situation. This is what it is. Um, me and the guys, we want to come up and prospect with you."
Now, how many charters is there? There's one in the Bronx.
Well, at the time there was one. There was one in the Bronx. There was one up in Middletown. There were actually two in the Bronx at the time. There were two in the Bronx. There was one up in Middletown. There was one in Connecticut. Um, and there were a few guys out in Jersey. Those are the only in the tri-state area that those were the guys that we had in the tri-state area. Those those guys at the time. Now I'm really not sure how many they got. Now I still have my guys that are in the club that I still have a lot of love for, but club business is not my business.
Yeah.
So I don't really, I'm not sure how much
So
charges
you
they have now.
you go up to Upstate. Is
Hmm.
it a far ride up there?
Oh, a hour and 10 minutes.
So if they need you, you can go there and be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
So what do they what does he say when you do you
So
bring
he's
all these guys with you?
mhm. So I go up there. Like I said, I talked to him and I let him know what the situation is. He said, "Oh, cool," and he's like, I tell him straight up. I said, "Look, if we do this, I want all four of us to start bottom rockers only. Bottom rockers only." And he said, "Oh, yeah, la, la, la." And we started bottom rockers only, and we
So
probably
you did you have the member patch yet though? No. So they you weren't like a full member, but you had a back patch.
all I had was bottom rocker MC. That's it. And I earned my patches back the way they're supposed to get earned. All four of us.
Was it a different process up there than it was from down there?